Why is it important to learn English?
I'm gonna give you 10 reasons why learning English is important. First, English is the most commonly spoken language in the world. 1 out of 5 people in the world know speak English.
English is the language of science, of aviation, computers, diplomacy, and tourism. Knowing English increases your chances of getting a good job in a multinational company within your home country or finding work abroad.
And also English is the official language of 53 countries, and there's a lot of people where you can talk to.
English is spoken as a first language by around 400 million people around the world.
And English is also the language of the internet. Many websites are written in English. You will be able to understand them and to take part in forums and discussions.
English is the language of the media industry. If you speak English, you won't need to rely on translations and subtitles anymore to enjoy your favorite books, songs, films, and TV shows.
English is based on a simple alphabet, and it is fairly quick and easy to learn compared to other languages.
English is not only useful, it gives you a lot of satisfaction.
It is important to learn a second language because nowadays the world is talking about English like a global language. So it is pretty much important to learn English because of the better opportunities you have work. So it will give you a better chance of having a better style of life.
The advantages of English could be developing your brain, learn about more cultures, and English is the language for business, so it could open many doors for a better job. And disadvantages, you could confuse many words. If you study in a bilingual school, it will be more difficult to translate into Spanish. Is English worth it? In around the world, the official language in six notaries. Is English worth it? Yes, because English is the official language in about 60 countries. English is so common. Learning to speak, read, write, and understand English can be a valuable investment in your future. There are 3 basic reasons. It can open a world of opportunities in job, schools. It can let you have more job options because you have the advantage of knowing two languages, and you can make negotiations and trade with other people all around the world.
Why English is so important? Because the knowledge of foreign language help us on our basic life and to develop new employment activities like in business or to develop some technology stuffs and all that thing. So the English is an universal language. So speak it open up many doors in many different countries. Like Spanish can't, because Spanish is a Romance language and it's very difficult compared with English, that it's more simple and basic.
One of the most important international languages is English because it is considered as a requirement for studying abroad for several decades. In particular, most of the textbooks are in English, including business textbooks. Someone can ask what English fluency is or how can I learn English language. In fact, this is an important and wide question, as well as it is an elusive question. First of all, the student should differentiate between textbook languages and real English language. For textbooks, students should study and read business textbooks line by line to get familiar with business terms, namely economic, financial, accounting and management terms, such as fiscal and monetary policies, derivatives, maturity, pensions, capital assets, etc. In addition, you should focus on grammar in order to write statements free from mistakes. On the other side, real English is a daily language used by native speakers in the street, supermarkets, companies, public places, and buses. So that's why you should study language is a key of success in this new century.
Learning English is not only for example, success in life and going abroad to other countries and study. It just can be, for example, to create friends. And imagine in the case that you have to travel and you don't, for example, in the United States, and you don't know English. How are you going to communicate with other people in a country that you don't know most of the things and you don't know the language? Also can be not just to travel. You can only, for example, if you talk in social medias, you can meet people and maybe they can be from another very different country, for example, Japan, India, and all that stuff. But they are going to be probably knowing the language of English, and you can communicate with that. And the disadvantages that also can be to learn English is because most of the ways to learn English are not going to be without paying. And for example, English classes are always going to have to pay, and they can be very expensive and they can take several years. And other things that are more like abroad are, for example, Open English, but when you really think about it, it's a lot of money, even more than $700,000. And it can be very difficult in that way to learn English.
Here are some tips for learning English. The first tip is that you need to practice your conversation. If there is a secret or a hack to learning a new language, is that you need to practice it every day by having conversations. Also, you need to learn that the classes you take, you have to take them in an efficient way. There is not a way that all the classes work for everybody. You need to start with the most common words, you learn them, and after you learn those words, you can advance for the most difficult and practice the pronunciation. Also, a very good tip is to carry a pocket dictionary because it helps you to learn words that you don't have in your mind. Also, you can keep practicing in your head. This will help you to practice even if you are not with other people. Also, you can figure out pronunciation patterns that will help you to learn the language.
Another tip that we can use is use audio and online courses for the first 100 words and basic grammar. Sometimes it is very important to learn a basic grammar in your English, and so for you to understand some other words that come from that word that you are learning. After the first 100 words, focus on becoming conversational. Studies have shown that the most common 10 words in any language account for 50% of all spoken communication, because people usually use the same words to communicate. So I'm for the brain melt. You know how when you do a lot of intellectual intensive work for hours and hours on end, at some point your brain just feels like it just can have no more. So you don't have to try to do that. You have to try to do your best to understand and comprehend what you are reading and what you are saying. So you always have to ask about word and how do you spell it, and then, for example, the I and the E. One in the tutoring is the best and most efficient use of time. So all these tips are very useful for learning what is the English. And in conclusion, English is a very beautiful language, and we think it's very useful to learn it for your daily life and for your professional life. Thank you.